Hello everyone, welcome to the webinar, The Smartest Communication Tools for EU Projects. I'm Caroline Stéphan, European Project Communication Manager at Sparks & Co. My job is to design and create tailored communication and dissemination strategies and implement the communication activities, mainly for Horizon 2020 projects, but not only. Today, I'm work package leader for 3 Horizon 2020 projects in health research, and I oversee all our European projects. I come from a scientific background, and I have a master's degree in marketing and communications. I always had a strong commitment to using my skills for the greater good and wanted to communicate for science.
Hello, I'm Joy Clemesti. I'm the European Communications Officer at Sparks & Co. I'm responsible for the strategic planning and implementation of communication activities for European projects. Today, I'm work package leader for 3 Horizon 2020 projects in SWAF's research. I have a master's degree in information and communication and have 10 years of experience in marketing and communication, 6 years of them in higher education, in which I worked as different roles, including head of communications. So Sparks & Co. is a science communication agency specialized in European projects. The company is based in Paris and was founded in 2014 to communicate about science in the best and brightest way, just in time for the Horizon 2020 program. We are currently working on 8 European projects as partners, advisors, and consultants. We are 11 persons in the team at the moment and still growing.
In 2016, we were finalists for the new Agency of the Year by the European Excellence Awards, and actually won the Consultancy of the Year by the same funding body this same year. Our CEO, Camille Coco, is on the advisory board for the Dandelion Project, a project that supports the uptake and valorization of research and aims at better communication and dissemination. We are work package leaders and partners in 6 Horizon 2020 projects, still running, 3 in health and 3 in science with and for society. Here, you can see some of our projects. Our activities go from curating a visual identity for a project, creating the right communication materials, cleverly targeted to reach the designed audiences. And we also regularly update the project website. We handle press relations. We develop social media strategies to best suit the project needs. And we also measure the outcomes impact of our activities.
This series of webinars will be an in-depth look at the different tools you can use to implement your communication activities after the launch of your project. The different webinars will cover every aspect of impact for your European project at the proposal and implementation stage for you to achieve the best impact of your project. It's very important here to mention that now in H2020 projects, the impact strategy of your project, which includes the communication and dissemination activities, represent 1/3 of the project's evaluation. So it's time to let your audience know that science is more than facts through the right communication strategy and tools.
Okay, now let's talk about the webinar. Welcome to the first day of this 3-day webinar delivered by Sparks & Co. This series is called The Smartest Communications Tools for your European projects. This webinar covers a lot of communication items, and this is the reason why we have divided it into 2-hour sessions, scheduled for 3 consecutive days. In this webinar, you will learn how to, so for the first day, create a visual identity and communication materials for your project. On day 2, you will learn how to develop a website and videos for your project. And finally, on day 3, you will learn how to manage press relations and social media for your project. It's really an in-depth look at the different tools you can use to implement your communication activities after the launch of your project. At the end of each session, there will be a minimum of 30 minutes allocated to Q&As or further discussion about the topics that were presented. So feel free to write down your question in the chat box and click on the question option.
So now we're done with the first section of this webinar about press relations. Now we're shifting to social media. So why should you use social media for your project dissemination? I'm sure you know, I'm sure you have used social media for years, especially that in recent years, social media networks have become important tools for online, and that everyone is integrating social media in their communication strategy, whether it's a brand, an association, an NGO, or even an EU project. More and more, social media is becoming an important tool for a communication strategy. The strong points of social networks are interactivity and instantaneity. Interactivity because people can interact with your project, they can write comments, they can get engaged, like your post, write comments, share, retweet. So it's very important to see the interactivity and what are the audience liking about the project and what they dislike about your project, because in that way you can improve your strategy and make it better. So social media can reach a very large audience at very low cost because it's free. Like when you're using the regular social media platforms, it's free and it can reach a high number of audience. Now we will go into how to create a social media strategy. As you can see on the slide, we have 10 steps to follow in order for you to have a really efficient social media strategy and to meet your objectives. So first of all, you should know your target market. So take the time to research and understand exactly how, when, and why your target audience is using social media. It's also very important to identify the target demographics, preferred social media platform, so that your strategy can be focused and direct. Because here you need to choose at this stage what is the social media platforms that you will be using. So are you going to use all the social media platforms or are you going to use one? And this will depend on your target audience, where your target audience is active, where your target audience is present. So you need to, at the first stage, do this research and know your target market. Second, take the time to craft your content. Before diving in and creating content online, think about the message and goal of each post. Whether it's a Facebook post or a blog article, every word you write should support your end goal. So it all depends on the objective of your project, what you want to achieve, what you want your audience to know. So whenever you write a post, think about this. Think about the objective, the goal, the outcomes of your project, and what you want your audience to know. So is your goal want to create awareness about a certain topic, or are you launching your new project video? Whatever the case, do not lose sight of the end result you are working towards. So this is for the content. A content calendar is a key to a consistent strategy. So take a look at an article that we will be sharing with you in the email that we will send at the end of webinar, where you can see how to create a content calendar for your social media.
Yes, and if you didn't have time to watch already day 1 and 2, for some of you, we are going to share all the so the tools we are talking about, the links to go to those tools, some articles, etc., in an email at the end of today.
Yes. So the third step is to create a cross-platform strategy. As I was saying, having an account on all social media platforms is not mandatory. You need to study your target audience, see what they want, where they are active, where they are present, in order for you to choose what is the social media platform that you will choose. But in our EU project, we usually start by creating an account on Twitter at the beginning of the project, and then assess if there's a need to be elsewhere. And this, it depends on the project, on the objectives, the target audience, and the outcomes. So just have a good look at your audience in order for you to decide. The next step is to keep your branding consistent. As we were talking in day one, we talked about visual identity and how important it is to have a consistent visual identity. And here also on social media, it's important to integrate your visual identity, your logo, your color scheme, the fonts, graphics, in order to be consistent with the overall project. So you want to ensure that no matter where people connect with you, your project identity is easily identifiable. This is why in our previous sessions, we have highlighted on the importance of having a visual identity. And we highly recommend you to have this. We will show you later on few examples, and you'll see how the project's visual identity were also implemented on the social media platforms, not only on printed materials, but also on social media platforms. The other step is mix it up. So don't just stick with the same old picture with the caption format. You need to be creative and to integrate in your content, in your post, for example, infographics, quotes from your latest post, or answer to questions, images, videos. Just be creative because the objective here is to generate content that people will interact with by clicking on it, commenting, or sharing it with their friends. So if you post the same content or the same type of format every time, people will get bored and they might unfollow you or unlike your page. So you need to be creative in order for people to get engaged with your content and to keep on following you on social media.
Something about this, the old picture with the caption format is always better than just caption formats.
Yeah.
Just to remind you, we talked about this with the video yesterday. People want visuals, always visuals. It's very important to remember that a post on social media will have better figures, better numbers of reach, etc., with a picture, video, infographics, quotes, but as an image, etc., etc. So now for the sixth step of the social media strategy is engage your audience. So after doing all of the other steps, and once you begin to catch the attention of your audience, try to make sure that they feel special. So whenever you have a comment, respond to the comments, the more quickly the better. Smooth people with concerns and answer all the questions they have. It's really important that you stay consistent in your message and that you maintain a professional behavior. So it's not, that's also something good with social media. It's not just you sharing content, it's the possibility for your audience to very quickly ask questions, answer back, etc., etc. This is why at the beginning we said that one of the social network strong points was instantaneity. So really try to make quick discussion with your audience so they don't get bored and just unfollow you again. Another step you have to follow is a rule called 70-30 rule. So this strategy consists at maintaining 70% with your content, with engaging content, interesting content, whether it's yours or not, and just 30% on project awareness and promotion. So the 70% should be some fun content, interesting and useful for your audience and the online user. So let your audience get involved in conversation rather than feeling as if they are only being shared with the project content. So this will keep your audience interactive and engaged, so that whenever you talk about your project, so with the 30%, they are more likely to value whatever information you will give them. So that's very important. The 70% engaging content will be used by the 30% project awareness and promotion.
But always make sure that the 70%, even if it's a fun content, it should be related to your project and to your objective. It shouldn't be any fun content or any engaging content. It should be related to your project, but something that could bring interest to your audience.
Yeah, something about the field, but still related to your content. So way more subtle than just promotions or, hey, check our website. We did one article about this. No, talk about the content more subtly. Anyway, they already see your project name, because we will see that a bit later. The name of your project will be the name of your profile on on most of the social media, not all of them. Okay, one other step is check your analytics. So we talk a lot about monitoring. Again, it's very important. So the analytics and the research should be the backbone of any social media strategy. There is one tool, Google Analytics. We talked about it yesterday with the websites part. So this analytics offer a rich database of statistics and analytics that can guide you and should guide you actually with your posting and your strategy decisions. So really, you should use those information, the analytics and the statistic, to learn as much as possible about which content is making the biggest impact with your community, because it's very specific to each community. It's hard to give already advices on the content. Your community will decide for you anyway. So evaluate how and why some content works and some other fails. So these analytics are available on every social media platform. And each media platform has its own analytic tool. So yes, analytics, very important to monitor your content. Another step, it's almost the end of the social media strategy steps, it's keep up with industry trends. So you have your own, you will see with your statistics and analytics, your own content and own rules, but there is still trending topic and story that will be relevant to your target markets and to your project. So it should always be at the top of your to-do list to try to link your content and your project to those trending topics and stories. So keeping your posts timely is a sure way to improve the organic reach of any post. So organic reach, it's when you don't pay. You don't pay for content. We will see this a bit later with Facebook. We will talk about ads. But here, the organic reach of each post is how your content will show on your audience and all of you, the users, social media. So when you are talking about trending posts, your reach will be better. So we highly recommend that you do field monitoring related to your own topics and your field. We are going to see this with Twitter, but for example, on Twitter, you can use a tool called TweetDeck. I'm going to enter a bit more into details afterwards. It's a very useful tool in which you can monitor by topic and by keywords, actually, your field. So we will see that a bit better later, sorry. And now our last step, it's revise and rework. So again, it's about the analytics. So you analyze, you have your analytics and your statistics. Now you have to take information that you obtained for the analytics and you have to adjust your strategy. social media is something very fluid. So your strategy must remain agile and flexible. You have to always try to change your strategy.
To update it.
Exactly, to update your strategy thanks to those analytics. So it's a loop. You have to do all the steps, then you revise and rework, and you go back to the beginning and you recreate content, revise your strategy, try to see what are the trends, what is working, etc., etc. So that's it for the social media strategy steps. We are going to see now in more details the different social media platform you can use for a European project. So the first one is Twitter. You also have Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and ResearchGate. So Joy already talked about Twitter at the beginning because it's the first social media platform that you will be using. So how Twitter can help your project? Well, Twitter can give high visibility to your project, and it will allow you to do the field monitoring we talked about earlier. It's very good tool to research for influencers. So not only we talked about journalists, but there is also a lot of influencers on social media. Sometimes they are both journalists and influencer on social media, but sometimes it's not. So use Twitter to do this, to monitor, to research for influencers, and to network with other projects, because other projects will be on Twitter, and it's usually an important task for EU project in communication and dissemination. You will have the task network with other projects. So use this, take the chance of using Twitter to try to network with other projects. And actually, last week for one of our projects, we were contacted by another project that want us to participate to one of their workshops. So it's really effective. It's an effective tool. Twitter is an effective tool to network with other projects. So also, now that we quickly talked about how why Twitter is important for your project, we are going to see how to use Twitter for your project. So first of all, well, seems easy, but